I have a little different camera angle today because of the project that I'm working on. Today we're going to be doing a cemetery monument saddle. You place this on the headstone and you create your floral arrangement here. First time I'm going to be doing one of these, so I thought I would video it and show you how I'm going to do it. I'll show you what I'm choosing. Well, first of all, let me introduce myself. My name is Elaine. I'm owner and creator at Inspired by My Angels, CLM. The reason my shop name is Inspired by My Angels, CLM, is because it's in memory of my daughter, Cheri who I lost when she was 22 years old. It has been many years, and if you've watched any of my other videos, the last one I did share that with everyone, and it means a lot to me to keep her memory alive. So I thought today I'll show you some of the florals I've chosen. I've got this bush of sunflowers, bachelor buttons, and geraniums with a mix of greenery. I've also got some red poppies that I'm going to be using. I've got some smaller filler greenery that I'll be placing along with that. Plenty of greenery. I've got these ferns. And then I have these larger ferns that I'm going to be using to establish the line of our design, the same way that we would if we were designing a wreath today. Same principle applies in this as well. So let's go ahead and get started. For those of you who have watched me before, you know that I am new at the art of wreath making. My journey began in September of 2020. So I haven't been at this that long. So the first thing that I want to do is establish my line, and I'll try to keep this in camera for you. And I'm going to want that to drape over. The most important is to get my measurement here on the side so you can see where the saddle is. I want my greenery to come down to somewhat hide the mechanics of the saddle. So the first greenery I believe that I'll put in will be right here, so I can see my length for covering my mechanics. I'm going to just dip my stem in some hot glue. I'm going to go in at an angle down towards the bottom of the brick of foam, floral foam, and insert. And you can see that's going to just cover like by maybe 3 inches. So I've got one in that direction. I'm going to go ahead and place another one in this direction. I'm going to cut this a little bit shorter. Put it in my glue. Because again, this is going to be outside at the cemetery on top of the headstone, and the cemetery gets a lot of wind. Just double checking, making sure that's going to cover, and it is. So you can see we've got our first 2 pieces placed. I'm going to turn that around. And I'm going to do the same thing on the opposite side. We come in at an angle. Like I said, a little more towards the bottom of the brick of foam, making sure it's covering my mechanics, and it is. And I would say I'm inserting probably about 2 inches into the foam. I want this to make sure this is nice and secure. Okay, so now we've got the sides. Now I'm going to come to the end of the brick. And insert here. So this is going to give us our perimeter, so our design will stay within this line. We won't extend past it. So I'm going to put one on the end. So I place that one on the end, turn it around, trim my stem to about 2 inches. So you can see that. Just about 1.5 to 2 inches. Place some glue, just so you can see the amount of glue that I'm using. And I'm going to put that in the end, in the center, but towards the lower part of the styrofoam. So here we go. We've established a line. Now I do have some of these left, but I think I'm going to wait. And now what I want to do is kind of lift up at the base of the fern so it curves down. Give it a little lift, but it's curving down. Okay, and I'm going to do that to each of my stems. So this will drape nicely against the headstone. Okay, so I think what I'd like to do now is come in with some of the other fern that I had showed you. I've gone ahead and clipped it off, and I've attached wooden floral picks because the stem on these was very thin and I want to make sure it's secure. Okay, and my thought is I will come right about at the corner in between each place that I've inserted the previous fern. I'm going to trim my wooden stick. I cut it at an angle so it's easier for insertion. You can see that. I'm going to apply my glue. I've got one here, I've got one here. So I'm going to come in between. I'm going to lift up on it and let it drape. So we'll go ahead and do that at our corners. Just hold this up. I can see where I need to snip it, and I just take my wire cutters and cut it at an angle, like that. Okay, so between these two, lift up and then let it drape down. I did get a little glue on my other fern. I'm just going to try to pick that off. I did. Once it's dry, it'll peel right off. Okay, so we've got that one. come in here, trim that stick. Get some glue. Now I'm inserting on the long side of my phone. And then I'm lifting up, giving it some movement, letting it drape down. And I just like adding this other texture. Lift up on the stem, give it some movement. Okay, so we've placed our 4 on our corners, and now I think I'm going to come up and let's place above where we have these 2 in between. Coming up a little bit higher on the block of foam. I'm going to come right in the center of these 2 and then lifting up like so. Do the same thing on the other side. Giving it a lift and bending it so it's a little more realistic. Okay? So you can see what we've got so far. Okay, so I've got a few pieces of that larger fern left and a couple of the smaller. So I'm going to hold off on those, and we'll have those to go back and fill in with. I think what I would like to do now is this other greenery that I have. But you know, I think maybe I'll try doing my florals first. Get my line established. So I really believe I just want this to go up about 6 inches. So I'm going to cut it at 8. Let's see how that would look. Find my center. This one's at 8, so put one in the center. We want to create a domed effect. Putting it in at an angle. I'm just trying it first, and then I'll slide one of the leaves down when I insert. That'll help to cover my greenery. I'm just giving it a little bend. Okay, I think that's nice. So then perhaps come out this way. So in between these two, trying to keep that same height. I like that. Okay, let me go to the other bush and cut off some pieces. Like I said, I'm measuring these out to about 8, wanting them to stand at about 6. So between these two, coming out at an angle. I'm just measuring on my mat and cutting these approximately 8 inches and inserting them about 2. Okay, so now let's come in right about here. And we need one more. Like I said, I'm not sure how many florals this is going to take. It's my first time. So there we have it. One on each end, one in the center. Then we created our triangle here. Can you see that? So we have our triangle here. Always trying to remember to work in triangles. We have another one here. It's a series of them. We have this and these two create. This and these two create. So we've got a series of triangles. Okay, I think I like the way that looks, so I'll go ahead now and glue these in. So I'll take the first one out, put it right back where I had it, and I'm just going to push that greenery down a little. Take this one. Keeping one piece of greenery up and one down if there's 2 on the stem. Which there appears to be. This one, I think I'm going to move it out a little bit more. As I said, I'm new at the art of wreath making and floral design. My journey began in September of 2020 after losing my job due to the COVID. And my thoughts were, what was I going to do with myself? And I needed a floral wreath. It was the like I said, the end of August, beginning of September. So I thought, well, let me get my wreath out. And it had seen better days. So I thought, oh, well, maybe I'll try to make one. I had never made a wreath before. So like many of you maybe are doing today, I went to YouTube and just looked for DIYs on how to make a wreath and found that there were many, many talented people willing to share how to create a wreath. Okay, so we've got those in. Now I think I'd like to come through with my next larger stems, which is these poppies. Okay, looks like I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I think I'd like to come into the center between these two with a poppy. This needs to be trimmed down. Again, I'm going to trim that to about 8. And I'm going to come between the two and place that in. Just a little bit lower than our sunflower. So again, I'm going to cut at about 8. I just have a leaf here I'm cutting off, but I'll save that because we can use that to fill in. And we'll come on this side. Let me cut this a little bit more, so that means I'm cutting off my greenery, but we won't waste it. We'll make sure we save these. Okay, and now I'm going to come between these two, that line that we have going down the center. Like I said, I just want it to be just slightly shorter, close to the same height, just a hair shorter. Okay, now I'd like to come out this way between these two. Okay, I'm going to turn it. We'll do the same thing over here. So we're creating maintaining our line and trying to evenly disperse our florals. Just removing some of the excess glue. Okay, so now I'm thinking, how about if we came out, I've got 5 left, so perhaps if I came out the corner here, I'll do 4. I'm letting these come out a little further. So I'm going between the 2 sunflowers and in line with the other poppy. But I'm going to let this one be just a little bit longer because I'm going to want to give that a bend down. Okay, so now I'm going to come to the opposite corner and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to let it be a little bit longer so it has a little more of a drape to it. So again, I'm coming between the 2 sunflowers but out to the corner of my styrofoam. Just giving that a little bit of a bend, like so. And we'll repeat that on this side. Again, between the 2 sunflowers, in line with the other poppy, coming out here. If you can see that, I can move this. I'm coming out right here at the corner on the top. We'll just make this a little bit shorter. Bending. Got one more. Okay, so we'll do that here. I hope you can see this okay. Push it in and just let that come out so everything's not at the exact same height. So that's starting to look nice. Okay, next I have my small geraniums. So 1, 2, 3, we've got 4. So let's get those in. Again, if it has the extra leaf, see there's 2 leaves on this? I'm going to take that second one and push it down. That will help cover my floral foam. Okay, so I think I'll come in right here on the side, now between the poppy and the sunflower. You can see where I place that. So I'm going to do the same thing. between the poppy and the sunflower, but on the side. Pushing that greenery down. So see, we've got two that's coming more downward, giving us a little more fullness, where it's going to drape over the headstone. Again, I'm coming over here. I'm going to go between my poppy and my sunflower. And I'm not inserting on the top of the phone, I'm going on the side, just to give this a little bit more length. It's reaching out to about halfway to the length of our greenery. So we're staying within our line that we created when we first put our large greenery in. So let's see, we've got one, I should have one more, and I do. Push my greenery down. Okay, so this is, let me hold that up so you can see it. From the sides, the ends, the other side. Okay, so now in that greenery bush, I think I'm going to put this one poppy that I have left. I'm just going to put that in. I think I'm going to put it in nice and tight to this sunflower here. Just because it came off of that first bush. Might as well use it instead of hanging on to it. And just leave a little separation between the florals. Okay, now that first bush did come with these blue flowers, so I'm going to put these in. And we only have 3. So I think I'm going to use these coming right down our center, a little off center. Just adds a nice little pop of color. Okay. Just make this a little bit shorter. Again, I'm keeping that bottom leaf so I can slide it down. So I kind of have one coming this way and one going that way. Okay, and I have one more. I'm creating this, either side could be the front or the back. What would determine that would be if we placed a bow, then that would definitely be the front. But right now, I just have it, I'm doing everything the same because Cheri's headstone is visible. As you pull up, you'll see both sides. Okay, and I think I'm going to put this one right in here. And maybe just coming out a little bit. Okay, so those are the 3 blue ones. So from that one bush, we did have to steal a few sunflowers. So what I'm thinking I would like to do now is to come in with some of our grasses. Let's see how many I have. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have 8. Okay, so that would give us, if we did 2 on the ends, there's 4, and then 2 on the sides. So let's try that. Because we do need to fill in to cover our foam. We don't want to extend past our guide of our greenery. So I'm going to come in right here. Where, can you see that? I'm sorry. I came in right here, so I'm staying within the length. Just bringing some of the greenery down a little bit to the bottom to get some more fill in there. Just giving this a little bit of a bend. Okay, so I did one there. I'm going to come over here on the opposite side, and I'm going to insert one over here, just to keep track, so I get this evenly dispersed. Okay. So pushing some of that greenery down, I'm lifting up and then bending down. Just separating this out. Okay, so we had one here and one here. Let's put another one here. Opposite that. Making sure we don't go past our perimeter. So see, I put 2 on the ends here. Whoops. So you can see that. That's these right here. So I'm going to go to the other end and, oh, I already put one down here. I need to put one more here. up a little bit, but giving it a little bit of the downward motion. Okay, so if you can see that, we did 2 on this side. Okay. So now I think I'll come in here. Placed one right there, right in here. So I'm going to turn it and do the same thing on the other side. Let's see, that one's there. So right here. Okay. So I think I'm going to put another one here. And I'll do the same thing on the other side. So we have one here. Spreading that out. Moving that greenery, try to get it evenly dispersed. And let's take a look. So I think I'm going to come on this side of this geranium. Like I said, I have more of this that we'll cut up. Okay, we're starting to get a little full, but I mean, we need a lot more in there. So I think I'm going to get another one of these bushes of greenery to fill in. Okay, so I've got another one of the bushes. So I'm just going to clip these off. We just clean up a little bit here. And all I'm doing is bending these down. And I'm giving them as much length when I cut them, because then I can adjust them later. Okay, and so I just clip those off. Same thing, just separate it on the stem, pushing these up like that, and now I'll just snip them off. Okay, we cut everything off our stem. Okay, and I think what we need as I look at this, and that's something that's, remember to do that, step back and glance at your piece. So what I want to do is just come in between all this other greenery so I have good coverage of that floral foam. So there isn't a real rhyme or reason to where I'm placing these other than wherever I feel I would get the best coverage. So I'm going to put one here. Make sure I've got that in there good. And when you take the stem, it's straight. Just kind of give it a little bend. Like so. Just make it a little more realistic looking. Okay, I feel like I need another one here. I just keep turning it around and seeing where I might need some more. Any holes. That's helping fill this in. Okay. So we went ahead and we've added, but we still need more. So let's come back with the rest of our floral bush and we'll start adding some of that in. So I'm going to get these clipped off. So that means we've used 2 of our fern so far, 2 of our yellow greenery, and we'll be using 2 of the floral bushes, and 2 of our first bush that we put in. Yeah, so 2 times, I'm just keeping track of how much I'm using. 2 times. And we do still have a little bit from those first bushes of greenery that we'll be able to cut up smaller if necessary, that we can place in there as well to fill in. So I'm going to go in first with my blue floral. I'm going to place a little over here. Just kind of get that dispersed. We only had 3 in there. Just try to work that through. So let's come in here. Just pulling off glue strings. Okay, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm thinking we need 1 here on the end. I have 1 more, so how about if we bring, well, maybe up here. Looks like we've got a little bit of a hole there. Now actually I think I want to get it a little more widely dispersed, so I think I'll come in here. Just have 1 peeking out there. So because we had borrowed the sunflowers earlier, we only have 1 left. So let's find a spot for that. And I think I want it right up here. Now we've got some of our geraniums. We cut those a little shorter, get them a little deeper into the arrangement to kind of draw the eye in and give us a little more coverage. Okay, that's looking nice. We're getting there. It uses a lot more florals than I realized. So I was thinking, depending on how this came out, I would like to make one to put in my Etsy shop. But I'm thinking it'll be quite pricey. I've still got these couple leaves that we took off the poppies. I've got these other ferns, which I think I'm going to come in with, but cut them shorter for a perimeter. Just when you're inserting, hang on to your floral foam to give you a little leverage as you're inserting. Okay, I'm just going around where I see a spot. Just inserting some of these ferns. Just want to bring a little bit of the fern up here to the top of the piece, just to make it blend. So we have put those two pieces in. I think I'm going to put another one right here in the center. So as I was telling you earlier, my journey began in 2020, September. And since then, I've signed up for 2 design classes that I take virtually online. Learning a tremendous amount. Enjoying it very much, and opened an Etsy shop later in October, and am pleased to say that I'm selling my wreaths. It's quite the journey. It was unexpected, and makes me happy. Sometimes we get those unexpected things in our lives and they don't make us quite so happy, but I'm enjoying this very much. Okay, I've got a couple little these ferns left. So I'm going to get those tucked in. Place this one over here. Just giving that a bend so it's more realistic looking. Now I still have some places where I can see my floral foam. So I need something else to fill in with. I've got these two pieces that came off the poppy, so I'm just gonna put those in, one on that side, one on this side near the poppy. Okay. I'll be mailing this up to Rhode Island. That's where my daughter's gravesite is. I'm originally from Rhode Island, and I've been living in Florida now since 2004. But I have very dear friends, husband and wife, who take care of Cheri's gravesite for me. So I will ship this up to them, and they will place it on her headstone for me. I also, since Cheri's death, beginning that first Christmas, I lost Cheri in April, the end of April 1996. So that December was very difficult with Christmas approaching. I wanted to somehow include Cheri in my life to continue. So what I began doing and have been doing for 25 years now was making little handmade angels that could tolerate being outside in the weather. When I first began, I placed a Christmas tree at Cheri's gravesite. I hung a card that I coated in laminate on the tree, and then I decorated that tree with all these angels that I had made. And the card reads each year that if you're stopping to visit with Cheri, please take an angel in her memory, or if you're just walking at the cemetery or visiting elsewhere and you were curious as to why there's this large Christmas tree in the middle of the cemetery, to please take an angel in memory of my daughter. So this has become a tradition, and as I said, it's something that I've been doing for 25 years. And through the help of my friends, I couldn't ask them to place a tree there, but we decorate, and now I wrap all of the angels in little bags and put pretty ribbon on them. I put a card with the date and Cheri's picture on the angel, and they're placed in a basket, and people just come and visit with her, and they take an angel home. And I've heard from many of the people who've received the angels that I don't know, I only know them through them receiving angels, that it's makes them feel good. And it gives me joy to know that Cheri's being remembered, and that these strangers are have a little piece of Cheri's memory in their home each Christmas. So doing this saddle arrangement, I'm very pleased. I think it's going to look beautiful there. As I said, this is my first time, but I think it'll be very cheerful, and I enjoyed making it. I hope that you enjoyed this process with me. I will go through, I've got to just decide what I'm going to use to fill in a little bit to cover my foam. But I hope you enjoyed, and perhaps you've got loved ones and you'd like to create something like this for their headstone. It's just a lovely tribute to those that have gone on before us, and makes me feel good to do this, and hopefully it will do the same for you. This gives me joy, and I hope that it would give you joy as well, to be creative, and especially creating something for a loved one. I am going to make another one of these, and I will have it available in my Etsy shop in the near future. So if you wouldn't mind, and if it's something that you think you might be interested in, stop by my Etsy shop, Inspired by My Angel, CLM. You can message me, send me an email if it's something that you would like to have for a loved one. You can do a custom order, maybe with favorite colors, or depending on the season. As I said, my girlfriend did make a lovely wreath, and it's there at Cheri's grave. It was placed in March on her birthday for the spring. And I thought we'll leave that up a little while longer, and then this one will serve for summer. And with the sunflowers and the coloring on it, I think it will look beautiful to have it right through the fall until I'm ready to create something for Christmas. But anyway, if you are interested and you think you would like to have one of these, go to my Etsy shop, keep an eye out, favor my shop. It'll let you know when I put new items in, and I will, like I said, I will be placing another cemetery saddle for sale. I would love to do that for people. And I thank you so much for being with me today as I go on this new journey of floral design and wreath making. If you're watching today, I would appreciate it if you hit that subscribe button and subscribe to my YouTube channel. I've got other videos out there that maybe you'd be interested in watching, and I will be making more in the future. Also, I'm on Instagram, Pinterest. If you could just give me a like and a share, you'd be helping my small business grow. And again, I just want to say thank you so much for coming along with me today, and I hope to see you in the next video.